Welcome to the stories on Echoes of Revenge. Step into a world where love turns dangerous, revenge feels inevitable, and every story drags you deeper into the shadows of desire, betrayal, and the human heart. Let's begin today's story. The alert hit my phone at 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Hard inquiry detected, Horizon Lending Group, $340,000 mortgage application. I stared at the notification. I hadn't applied for a mortgage. I own my condo outright, purchased 3 years ago with money I'd saved working 60-hour weeks as a medical device sales rep. No debt. Credit score 801. And absolutely no mortgage applications in process. I called the credit bureau first. 23 minutes on hold, then a representative named Sharon pulled my file. Yes, ma'am. Application submitted yesterday. Co-borrower status on a refinance for property at 2847 Maple Grove Drive. My parents' address. My stomach dropped. I didn't apply for anything. The application shows your social security number, date of birth, employment information at MedTech Solutions, and current salary of $127,000. All verified through your employer. They'd used my real information. My actual employer. My actual income. I need to speak with Horizon Lending immediately. Sharon gave me the number. My hands shook dialing it. The loan officer, Michael Chin, answered on the second ring. Professional voice, slightly defensive when I explained the situation. Ms. Patterson, your parents submitted a joint refinance application. You're listed as co-borrower. They provided all necessary documentation. I never signed anything. Pause. We have your electronic signature on file. Submitted through our secure portal yesterday at 2:34 p.m. Yesterday at 2:34 p.m., I'd been in a client presentation 40 miles away. My work calendar could prove it. My badge swipe at the hospital could prove it. Pull the IP address for that signature, I said. I'll wait. Jim put me on hold. 4 minutes later, the signature was submitted from an IP address in Riverside County. Is that your location? No. That's where my parents live. I'm in Orange County. Another pause, longer this time. Ms. Patterson, I'm going to transfer you to our fraud department. Fraud department connected me with investigator Lisa Ramirez. She asked me to stay on the line while she pulled the full application file. I heard keyboard clicks, a sharp intake of breath. Ms. Patterson, this application was approved this morning. Closing scheduled for next Tuesday. Your parents are refinancing from a $280,000 balance at 6.2% to $340,000 at 4.1%. Cash out of $60,000 minus closing costs. With your income as co-borrower, they qualified for the lower rate. Without it, they'd be at 5.8%. The math crystallized instantly. They were using my credit score, my 801, to drop their interest rate. Using my income to increase their borrowing power. Using my identity to extract $60,000 in cash. How much does the co-borrower status save them monthly? I asked. Approximately $440 per month on the new payment. Over the 30-year term, roughly $158,000 in interest savings. $158,000. They'd committed identity theft for $158,000 in savings, plus $60,000 immediate cash. And bound me legally to a $340,000 mortgage on a house I didn't live in, didn't own, and never agreed to guarantee. I'm filing a police report today, I told Lisa. I need documentation of everything. I'm freezing the loan immediately. Our legal team will contact you within 2 hours. Miss Patterson, she hesitated. I'm required to tell you that if you don't file a police report, you may be held legally responsible for this debt. I called my parents from the parking lot of the police station. Mom answered cheerful. Sweetheart. How are you? I just got off the phone with Horizon Lending Group's fraud department. Silence. Then, oh honey, let me explain. You forged my signature on a mortgage application. Used my social security number without permission. Listed my income to qualify for better terms. That's identity theft. That's fraud. We're family. We needed help with the refinance and your credit is so good. You didn't ask me. You would have said no. Dad's voice now, he'd grabbed the phone. You're always so selfish about helping family. We raised you, paid for your education. I paid for my own education. $67,000 in student loans which I paid off in 4 years. My voice stayed steady cold. You're claiming I owe you financial support by committing a federal crime? We're not criminals. I'm at the police station now, filing a report. Dad's tone shifted. You're going to send your own parents to jail? You're going to ruin my credit and saddle me with $340,000 in debt I never agreed to? Mom was crying in the background. How could you do this to us? I hung up. The police report took 90 minutes. Officer James Martinez documented everything. The credit alert, the loan application, the forged electronic signature, the IP address evidence. He called it a clear case of identity theft with fraudulent loan application. Even with family? I asked. Especially with family. That's where most identity theft happens. The perpetrators have access to social security numbers, birth dates, employment information. He slid the report across the desk. You'll need copies for the credit bureaus, the lender, and the Federal Trade Commission. I filed the FTC identity theft report online that afternoon. By evening, I'd placed fraud alerts with all 3 credit bureaus. By the next morning, Horizon Lending's legal team had called. Loan canceled, application voided, investigation opened. Then came the call from their compliance officer. Ms. Patterson, during our investigation, we discovered your parents had requested employment verification from your HR department. Someone at your company provided salary confirmation. My blood went cold. They called my employer? Yes. Posing as you, requesting verification for a personal loan application. Your HR coordinator provided the information, standard procedure. We have the recorded call. They'd impersonated me, called my workplace, used my professional reputation to commit fraud. I requested the HR call recording. Listened to it that night in my living room, lights off, phone on speaker. Mom's voice, slightly higher pitched than normal, trying to sound like me. Hi, this is Emily Patterson from sales. I need income verification sent to Horizon Lending Group for a mortgage application. The HR coordinator, friendly and helpful. Sure, Emily. For the property you're purchasing. Yes, just need the documentation for underwriting. Congratulations. I'll send that over today. They'd practiced. She'd modulated her voice. Used my work terminology. Impersonated me so thoroughly that someone who worked in my building who saw me weekly believed it was me on the phone. I listened to it 3 times. Each time the betrayal cut deeper. The ghost ledger came together that night. Not just financial theft. Emotional accounting they'd never acknowledge. Every time they'd called me selfish for not lending money. Cost equals my self-worth, itemized as greed. Every guilt trip about family helps family. Cost equals my boundaries, reframed as obligation. Every dismissal of my career success as lucky or easy. Cost equals my accomplishments, reduced to accident. The years I'd paid for family dinners, covered their car repairs, given birthday money, all while being told I didn't contribute enough. Cost equals generosity, reframed as insufficient. And now this. My identity, my credit, my professional reputation weaponized for their benefit without consent. Cost equals trust, shattered beyond repair. I titled the document, The Ghost Ledger, what was never credited but always owed. Saved it. Would never send it. But writing it made the invisible visible. Horizon Lending's investigation took 11 days. Their findings arrived in a certified letter. Investigation confirms fraudulent application. Signatures do not match authenticated documents. IP address confirms application originated from borrower's residence, not co-borrower's location. Employment verification obtained through identity misrepresentation. Full criminal referral submitted to county prosecutor. Criminal referral. Not civil. Criminal. My phone rang an hour later. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Mom's voice, shaking. Emily, the mortgage company is saying we committed fraud. We could face charges. You have to call them back, tell them it was a misunderstanding. I deleted it without finishing. Dad called next. You're really going to let us get prosecuted? Over a mistake. Not a mistake. A calculated decision. They'd researched the process, gathered my information, practiced impersonation, forged signatures, and planned to close the loan without me ever knowing. The only mistake was getting caught. 3 weeks later, the county prosecutor called. Assistant Day named Catherine Morrison, handling financial crimes. Miss Patterson, we've reviewed your case. Given the sophistication of the fraud, forged signatures, identity impersonation, attempted loan disbursement, we're moving forward with charges. Felony identity theft, felony fraud, and attempted grand theft. What happens to them? If convicted, they're looking at probation, restitution, and permanent records. The restitution would include any costs you've incurred: legal fees, credit monitoring, time lost from work. I'd taken 3 days off work for this. Filed dozens of documents. Spent $2,400 on a lawyer to protect myself. Hours of phone calls, meetings, documentation. I want restitution, I said. Every dollar. We'll include it in the charges. My parents hired a lawyer. He called me the following Tuesday, attempting negotiation. Miss Patterson, if you'd be willing to not cooperate with the prosecutor, we could resolve this as a family matter. No. Your parents are facing serious consequences. They should have considered consequences before committing identity theft. Surely there's room for compassion here. There was. Before they forged my signature. Before they impersonated me to my employer. Before they tried to saddle me with $340,000 in debt. Kept my voice level. I offered them compassion for 32 years. They offered me fraud. He hung up. The case is still pending. Preliminary hearing set for next month. My parents have stopped calling. Their lawyer sends occasional settlement offers, all requiring me to drop cooperation with the prosecutor. I decline each one. I changed my phone number last week. Updated all my security questions. Froze my credit permanently. Added 2-factor authentication to everything. The trust is gone, but the fortress is built. My credit score is 798 now. Dropped 3 points from the inquiry, but recovering. The hard inquiry will fall off in 2 years. The knowledge that my own parents tried to destroy my financial life for $60,000 and lower interest rates will never fade. I'm having dinner with my mentor next week. The woman who hired me at MedTech, who wrote my recommendation letters, who believed in me before my own family did. Real family. Chosen family. The kind that doesn't require your social security number to prove their love. The account is closed. The application is voided. And I am finally completely free.